It's good, y'all. Welcome back to Niner Wire. I'm your host, Sam, and today we are back for more pregame analysis. We are in week 10, man. Season's been flying by. Been a rough season. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. But, hey, we're back week 10 pregame analysis against New Orleans after that rematch of the week 14 thriller. We are back in New Orleans. Should be an excellent game today. To break it down with me today, we got Kobe right here. How you doing, Kobe?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Time for a very intriguing matchup today, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of looking at it. A lot of people on paper obviously have New Orleans winning, and there's no surprise there. But this could be a really close game. I mean, we'll talk about it throughout the episode. I know I saw your tweet, like, you have the Niners winning in a different way, which I'm really interested to hear later on in this episode. So let's just get right into it. Before we do that, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NinerWireSam. My Instagram is at NinerWire_YT. I post a lot of stuff there. Make sure to follow those things. Also, gotta make sure to follow Kobe on Twitter at BigKobe. Also, make sure to tune into the Faithful Four podcast. And also, Kobe's doing a podcast himself, Talking Niners, at 5 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Kobe and I will be on there talking Niners, breaking down the game. So make sure to tune into that. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you name it, make sure to leave them in the live chat below. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm wondering if you have any opening thoughts to start this off, like about the game, anything. What you got, Kobe?
Well, it's going to be rough. It's going to take a total team effort if we're going to win today because the 49ers are already undermanned heavily. We all know. You see your Twitter name is a 9IR wire.
Yeah.
Because all the good players on IR, which is, I think, on the Faithful Four podcast episode, the last one we did, that went up on, I forget what day it was, but it was recently.
Yeah.
We discovered that the 49ers only have 4 starters on this team that haven't missed a game yet. And that's Eric Armstead, Fred Warner, Brunskill, and Mcglinchey. Those are only 4 starters that haven't missed a game yet this season. So that tells you all you need to know about how this team is doing on the injury front. So, they got a lot of work ahead of them because this is a good Saints team. They're getting into their groove. They got Michael Thomas back. Emmanuel Sanders is playing good football. Drew Brees is playing good football. Kamara is one of the best backs in the league. I mean, they got their work cut out for him today.
Yeah, for it. And I mean, adding on to the injury front, Tart went on. His season's done after that turf toe injury, which usually you don't see. Yeah. I mean, that's how cautious this team is. I don't know if it's serious or not. If it's not serious and they put him on there, it just shows like how cautious they are with this team. But this could. I mean, obviously you got hope for little injuries every time, but this game could get ugly. The rest of the season is probably going to get ugly. I mean, right now we're 4-5, and I mean it's like it's not looking good from there. So even though we technically are still like a few games out of the playoffs, it's not looking good. But hey, gotta bear out the season. Gotta talk about the games. Gotta do everything you can. So let's just get right. Yeah, just don't suck. I mean, obviously we can tank, suck, but I mean, for the players on the field, I mean, that's another story. Like they always gotta be balling out, get their job done. So you're not gonna see this team give up. This team has a lot of resilience. This team has a lot of fighting power in them. They're not just gonna give up. They're gonna give it their all. Is it gonna pay off in a win? Probably not, but we will have to see. So, all right, let's get into the keys to the game. I'm gonna start off with the Niners offense. My key to the game for the Niners offense is an efficient passing game. And right now, the Niners have been struggling in the passing game. So usually I don't really put something there that isn't the bread and butter of the team. But the Saints' pass D has not – they have been severely underperforming this year. I know last week they had a blowout win against Tampa, the Saints did, and their pass D looked pretty good. But throughout the year, the Saints' pass D has not looked that good. Marshawn Lattimore hasn't been as good as people were hoping he's been. So if the Niners can somehow break through today, I think they could very much get a win. And, I mean, I know last game Kyle Shanahan said 85% of the snaps are going to go through Brandon Ayuk, who is now playing today, out last week with the fake COVID stuff. But I think he could have a massive game today. And he is one of my key players, spoiler alert. But, I mean, I think that the passing game, they're going to use the passing game a lot. You got Bourne back, Ayuk back. Taylor's questionable. There's a lot of questionable guys. I believe River Craycraft is questionable as well, if I'm right. But he could be playing. I forget. But, I mean, the pass game, they're definitely going to have a huge part in the pass game, even with the tight ends, too. Jordan Reed, Ross Dwelly, those guys could all have very big parts to this game today. So I do think the Niners passing game, you're going to see that often. Plus, I expect them to be down. So, I mean, the only way you can really come back from being down is having an efficient passing game. So it's definitely going to be huge for the Niners to have that passing game today.
Yeah, and I agree for another reason. The Saints' run defense is very, very, very good this season. They're ranked second in the league, only allowing 85 yards per game in rush defense. So, and the Niners are missing some of the key cogs in their running offense. Moster's out. He's been out for the longest. He's only played in like 3 games this year. Kittle's gone for most of the season, if not the entire season, depending on how the season ends up being. And Hastings and McKinnon haven't been all that great recently. So, as far as the running game goes, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to get it done against already a stout defense, and they're missing key guys to make the run game go. Now, obviously, Shanahan, his scheme, may get them some hitters here or there if they're still able to run the ball because they're not down by too much. But, yeah, the passing game is going to have to be effective today. And they got 2 guys back that they're going to need to help with that. Richie James played very well last week. They got Ayuk and Kendrick Bourne back today. So the passing game gets a boost, and Jordan Reed's a little bit healthier, so he may get more snaps this week than he did last week. So if they can just get receivers, open in the secondary, which the Saints have shown that they, their run defense is the strongest part of the unit. It's not really the pass defense. If they can give Mullins enough time to go through his reads, the receivers will still get open. Shanahan can still scheme receivers open, and he's got some of his guys back, so he has some better targets to throw to this week. If he can just be on time, not do too much, we see Mullins turn the ball over a lot when he starts to extend plays, just tries really, really hard to get the ball out to not take a sack. If he can just limit his mistakes and just take what's there for the on offense with the receivers, the passing game should be okay because Shanahan will scheme receivers open, and Ayuk is back. He's very good at getting open. Kendrick Bourne is good on third downs. Richie James looked promising. Hopefully he's able to continue what he did. Now he won't be the focal point of the offense. He won't be the best receiver on the field, so he'll be, he'll make it less attention. And yeah, the Niners are going to win this game, like you said, Sam. The passing game has to be popping today because even if it's like not close and they're down by a lot, they have to pass the ball. So
yeah, for
passing
sure,
game has to be popping today.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Saints' run D. They've been just stopping everyone this year. So I mean. And that's the Niners' bread and butter. It's always hard going up against a team that has that run game because the Niners just love to use it. Last game, I mean, you went up against the worst run D in the league, but you couldn't do anything because your passing game was so bad. I mean, you have to have a good balance of that passing game and the run game if you want to win the game. And I mean, last year, our passing game was so good against the Saints. I mean, when it's a shootout like that, you're not expecting a shootout like that from a team like this. So, I mean, you definitely have to get that pass game going. But and I mean, and adding on to that, Nick Mullins could be is he the guy this week? I don't know. He's been so inconsistent throughout the year. We could have a Raiders week where it's Big Dick Nick, or we could have the last week against the Packers where it's Little Dick Nick. I don't know what is going to happen this week, but I mean, he's got to step it up. And lastly, adding on to that, not only does the passing game the passing game from Mullins and the receivers have to be on top today, the pass blocking has to step it up. And Mike Mcglinchey is really the main guy. He's been just so bad this year. It's ridiculous how bad Mike Mcglinchey is. Like at this point, usually a player like that on another team, if they're just like coming in and just like replace someone or something, usually that player's gone or just not starting or something like that. Mcglinchey, obviously, we are relying on him. He's a first-round pick, 9th overall pick. We're relying on him to step it up, and he hasn't been able to do that this year. And, I mean, yes, his run blocking is good. It's the pass game. He has to step it up. Another one of my key players today is Mike Mcglinchey. So I definitely think he's going to play a crucial part in this game, in the pass game. And obviously in the run game, he does that every time. But in the pass game specifically, we can't have him getting pancaked half the plays.
Yeah, and it's going to be a rough challenge for him because that Saints defensive line is pretty good. Cameron Jordan and Trey Hendricks and Malcolm Brown and those guys, they're playing some good. Obviously, they're stout in run defense this year. And Trey Hendricks has 7.5 sacks right now for the Saints coming off of the edge. And I'm assuming they're going to put him probably on Mcglinchey sometimes, to try to get some easy, because they know that Mcglinchey is a liability in pass protection, so they may target him sometimes. Or if not, he'll still have to do it Cam Jordan. And we know how good Cam Jordan is. So I think Trent Williams will be okay. He'll hold his own, but Mike Mcglinchey is going to be where you're going to have some questions because it's like, man, if the running game's not going and his pass protection looks terrible. And if it looks terrible again today, Mullins will have no time. And if he has no time, we can't pass the ball. And that's how we're going to have to win this game. I don't trust the running game to get going against the second-ranked, run defense in the league without a lot of their key players in run defense like Mostert and Kittle and them. Even Coleman sometimes, and then Wilson. Jeff Wilson was a very good running back. I don't think because McKinnon just doesn't have the burst that we were expecting him to have when we first signed him. He looks
for sure,
like very, very slow, and
he's looking like a satellite back kind of. He's not really the RB1 that you want on your team. He's going to be like a guy just like get those quick checkdowns too. Put him in once in a while. It's JaMychal Hasty is the guy you want running the ball, but I mean, even though I love the kid, he's no Raheem Mostert. He's no like all-star Pro Bowl running back. So
he struggled recently. He struggled for sure recently.
Yeah, I mean he struggled against Green Bay and Seattle. I mean, yes, he did pretty well against New England, but he's got to keep stepping it up, playing like an RB1 because we're really relying on him for a lot of what we're doing right now, considering our depletion just all over the board. Our running back, tight end with no Kittle, offensive line has just been so depleted. So I mean, there's obviously a lot of stress on those running backs that they got to step it up. So, yeah, all right.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's also another thing is does Shanahan trust him still because of the fumble against the Seahawks? Sometimes that kind of stuff gets you less carries, and we saw that last year with Breida. He was putting the ball on the floor. Even early in the year with Mostert, he wasn't getting any carries early in the year because he was fumbling a lot. So when Mostert was fumbling, he didn't get any run. When Breida started fumbling, he didn't get any run towards the end of the year. So how many carries will Hasty get if Shanahan doesn't trust him? And he's going to have to get a lot of carries because it's him and McKinnon pretty much. So
for sure,
it's going to be interesting to see what he does at back.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I know we're saying like the passing game is crucial, but if we can somehow get through with that running game, then that's going to be really hard for the Saints to stop us, considering usually Shanahan's a guru in the run game. If we can break through that run D, it could be a very difficult challenge for New Orleans today. So, yeah, you got anything else about the offense?
No, we pretty much said everything we need to say. I mean, the running game might not do well today, so the passing game's going to have to pick it up. If they don't, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, for sure. All right, defensive key of the game. What you got, Kobe?
This Saints passing game kind of leans more towards the Niners' strengths because they're a short passing game, quick passing game, where these linebackers and corners can jump on routes, and get a key on receivers, and in the 10 yards and in. Yeah, that's how this offensive passing game likes to operate for the Saints. They're very dink and dunk like and take their shots when they're open. But not often because Drew Brees doesn't seem like his arm has all that much pop anymore. He only throws like 3 or 4 passes a game, and it seems like they go like past 15 yards. So as far as like stressing the field, and the Saints don't really have that many field stretchers. They have Michael Thomas, not a field stretcher. They have Emmanuel Sanders, who is a little older, not as fast. You don't have to worry about him too much going deep, except for sometimes. But yeah, they don't have that many deep threats on this team. So this secondary has been very good playing, people who can't take shots that often because they're able to be more aggressive on some of those underneath routes. So that could help. So it's going to be – this is probably one of the most favorable matchups. But the only question is, I did a stat in the live show I did. I'm forgetting all the days I did this stuff. But I did a live show recently where I put out because the Niners defense has struggled against above average quarterbacks. So I looked it up and looked at the QBR for all the teams that we've beaten, all the teams that we have lost to. So 4 of the 5 teams that we lost to have quarterbacks in the top 10 in QBR. And now 4 of the teams that we beat have quarterbacks in the bottom 10 in QBR. So what I think that means.
Oh, is he frozen for you guys too? I don't know what happened, but Kobe's frozen right now. I might as well just go into my defensive key of the game right now. If he's frozen, Kobe, if you come back, let me know. Just DM me on Twitter. I don't know. My defensive key of the game today, it's definitely a bit interesting, and it's kind of hard for me to put what's there. And that's third down D. And really what I want to say is just stop the ball movement, but you really can't do that because I'm not saying you can't do that, but it's hard to put that as a key of the game because that's the purpose of defense. It's really hard to do that. Just put that there, I should say. And third down D, let's highlight the third down D because Saints have a pretty high octane offense with Kamara, Michael Thomas, Sanders. And they also have that solid offensive line. Kobe just left. He should be coming back soon. But anyways, third downs should not be a problem for New Orleans today with that high octane offense. But if the Niners can come in, stop that right away, then I mean it's gonna be very hard for this New Orleans D to execute what they want to execute and everything like that. So I mean, if we can hold them on third down more than 50% of the time, this game's gonna look a whole lot different. Kobe's back now.
I don't know what happened. I was getting into it, and all of a sudden I was gone. But
yeah, yeah, you just froze right there. But anyways, finish what you were saying. You stopped. You were talking about like Kamara, I think, or something like that. Or
okay, so like, a while ago.
I think you stopped about like a minute. It was like a minute ago.
Jesus. All right. Well,
I don't know. You stopped. Yeah, you were frozen for a while, so I had to get into my key. But go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So, this team is more like route runners, not like deep threats. So the secondary should have an easier time on, maybe contesting some of these passes because we've seen them struggle, contesting the deep ball recently against the Seahawks and against the Packers the last 2 weeks because of no pass rush because they can't get to the quarterback, so they have all day to sit in the pocket and take shots deep. Now the Saints might not do that because that's not Breeze's game, but so that might give the secondary a chance to be able to play better in the secondary, but. Regardless, if they can't get a pass rush going, I mean, Drew Brees might dice him up because if he has all day to sit in the pocket and create, because he has been extending plays this year, even though he's like, 41, 42 years old, he can still get out the pocket and extend things. So, and also this defense, I pulled up a stat in one of my recent shows that this defense has not beaten the team that has a quarterback that ranks in the top 10 in QBR. All the teams they've beaten rank in the bottom 10. So quarterbacks that are playing at a high level this season, they have struggled against because they can't get to the quarterback in time when the quarterback has all day to get on the field and find the guy he wants to get to. So, the defense is going to have to work it out for them. But this the way that the Saints play gives them a better chance, for the corners on the outside. They have to worry about getting beat, too far down the field, unless they think they can beat this team down the field and start taking more shots than they normally do. But the Saints would do what they do. Niners have a better chance on defense against this team than they have the last 2 weeks because of the lack of a consistent deep threat. So. I mean, the defense has a good chance to get back to the way they've been playing football. The secondary this favors them more than the last 2 games, so they have a chance. They have a chance to maybe slow this Saints offense down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned like kind of with Drew Brees getting out of the pocket, it's going to be huge for the Niners to keep him in the pocket, and that's really the case every week because we've seen it time in, time out again. Teams succeed when their quarterback is out of the pocket when going against us. Always. You saw, I mean, I've said this almost every episode, so I don't want to go too much into it, but the pass rush is going to be definitely a crucial part to this defense and just like stopping them all together. And you mentioned it well; they do match up pretty well against us. I mean, yes, Drew Brees is still a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. He's on the decline, but still top 10 quarterback. You got Michael Thomas, you got Emmanuel Sanders. We know Emmanuel Sanders' play style well because he was with us last year. I think I'm not expecting too big of a day from Emmanuel Sanders. But Michael Thomas, that could be another story. I do think you're going to see guys like Fred Warner go up against him. Just guys all over the field go up against Michael Thomas. Alvin Kamara, another guy in the passing game that you can very much use. You mentioned him. That's where you froze, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be it's going to be interesting to see how we cover this defense because I'm with you that we match up well against this team on defense. So it's going to be very interesting to see that. I'm going to only briefly touch on my point, my defensive key, because I kind of talked about that. Just third down defense. And really, I wanted to say just stop the ball moving, but that's the point of defense. So I want to put something a bit more specific. So third down D, with that high octane offense, they should be able to convert on many third downs. But, I mean, if we hold them to less than 50% conversions, this could look like a very different story. I mean, we're going to get the ball often. If we're doing that, we can get the ball a lot more often. I mean, less red zone threats, less points in general. Third down D could be a very crucial part to this game that could help the Niners win. And I think, as I said earlier, Fred Warner, that's going to be a huge guy to this third down D. I mean, I bet he's going to be the guy that's going to be looking at Kamara all game, wherever he goes. Probably one of the best weapons in the NFL, probably behind McCaffrey. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how we stop the Saints, how we lock them up, how we cover against them. and third down D, I believe that if we stop them there, this game could look very different.
I mean, yeah, because the last two games, it's Washington games, the defense can't get off the field. The offense is struggling, the defense can't get off the field, and next the game's over. So, yeah, for this game, getting off the field when you create those third and longs or those third and mediums where you have a favorable shot of getting them off the field, you got to be able to. There are times last week where the defense had been in a position to get them off the field in that Packers game. Maybe get the offense, the ball back, in a decent position where they're not down by a bunch of points. They can still run their offense. And they couldn't get them off the field in third down. So the drive just kept going. And next, the points kept coming. And Niners offense, the way they were so banged up and they're missing so many players, nothing they can do. So giving your offense as many chances as possible. Obviously, it's kind of, obvious that it's what you want to do on defense. Give your offense as many opportunities as possible without giving up points. But it's even more crucial now because the offense is missing so many key players. You don't know who you can rely on, to what's, you don't know what's going to be working for the offense, missing so many key players. So they give your offense as much time as possible to get going in this game could be crucial if they can't get going pretty fast. Which if they can, they might lose anyway. But trying to get the offense time to get going with so many mixed parts out there is crucial this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you doing something with your hands, like flipping through something? Because I don't know, there's some weird sound coming on your end. But all right, now it went away. But I think it's all good right now. But I don't know. It seemed like you were kind of like it sounded like you were shuffling cards or something like that. And then you froze again. So, all right. He mentioned a good point. Just stopping. I mean, Kobe mentioned a good point. Stop like the Saints offense. If they just keep the ball moving, they're just going to go forward. They're just going to destroy our defense. And that's my Saints offense key to the game. Just keep the ball moving. It's the exact same thing I had last week. I've had it many other weeks before. So, I mean, yeah, man, it's just, I'm just going to text Kobe right now. Give me 1 second. That could be, it could be my network. I don't know, but, yeah, anyways, man, I was just going to say, like, the Saints offense, like, again, another high octane offense. Like I said, against Green Bay last week, high octane offense. They kept the ball moving. That's how they won the game. The Saints could do the exact same thing here and just destroy this team. So I do believe that the Saints, if they keep the ball moving, they're going to win this game. I think they can easily execute that. Fred Warner can't carry this entire defense. So, yeah, man. I don't really know. There's not much to say about this since I've just said it like every week. Like, just if the teams just keep the ball moving against us, get their quarterback out of the pocket, use their weapons well, and just like execute at everything, just keep the ball moving, they're going to do a great job. They're going to win this game. But yeah, man, in the third down D, the Niners defensive key that I had kind of just goes directly with that. Like, if the Niners can't stop them on third down, they're just going to keep the ball moving. This defense is going to be exhausted. The offense won't be able to get back on the field, and we're just going to lose this game because there's no time. And this offense needs time to execute, especially with so many starters out. This team is going to need a lot of – they're just going to need a lot of they're just going to need a lot of time to just execute, get everything going. So, you have to keep that offense on the field for the 49ers. And if the Saints can keep their offense on the field longer than the 49ers can keep theirs on the field, it's going to be a big problem for this Niners team. So that is my offensive key of the game. Let me check in on Kobe real quick. Give me 1 second. So yeah, that is my Niners offensive key of the game. Kind of building on what Kobe said, like their Niners D, like kind of just gonna try to stop the Saints D from keeping the ball moving. We got to get the offense on the field, and I'm kind of just restating what I said, but it's so important. I can't stress enough how important it is to just get the offense on the field whenever you can. Just like keep that offense on the field, have the ball in our hands. Turnovers are going to be crucial for this 49ers offense. If they turn the ball over, this is going to be a massive problem for this team. You can't afford to throw a pick. You can't afford to get a fumble. I know I'm stressing this so much and just re-saying everything, but you have to keep this defense on the field for a little bit of time. So really everyone on the defense is going to have to execute. And as Kobe said, pass rush is going to be huge. Coverage is going to be huge too, but pass rush especially, because pressure kills everything. And that's also my Saints defensive key of the game. Pressure. Again, the same thing as last week. Pressure killed us. I mean, it's ridiculous how like pressure's just killed our team so much. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't really need to say much about this. I mean, pressure kills everything. The Niners struggle against pressure. Mike McGlinchey's been so bad this year. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, just pressure, just executing on if the Saints can execute on offense and pressurize us, they win this game hands down easily. It's not even going to be a competition. So, yeah, that's really all I got. Sorry for the like a bit of an inconsistency right there. I mean, Kobe's obviously the internet's problem. This is kind of not unprecedented, but I mean, it's all good. But we'll probably just wait for him, see what's up. But yeah, man. I mean, it's just like it's really hard to just like not. I don't see this game being a shootout whatsoever. I mean, I said earlier like it could be a shootout if the Niners execute what they have to do and the Saints don't. But let's be real. Are the Saints really gonna? Are they not gonna pressurize us? Probably not. I mean, their defensive line is better than our offensive line. Let's be real. Are they going to keep the ball moving against us, or are we going to stop them? They're probably going to keep the ball moving because our defense is so depleted. They're going to keep the ball moving. They have the high octane offense. That's probably going to happen. If they execute that, they win this game. That's simple. Now, our keys to the game, we could very well execute too. They could keep this ball moving. Let's say like they move on second down. They get all those conversions on second down, first down. Then that's a different story. If we stop, we can still stop them on third down, make this a bit of a closer game, but still, it's going to be crucial. Just the Saints keys are just going to be crucial to this game. And then on the 49ers offensive key, I said the pass game. Pressure is going to kill this pass game. Yet again, pressure is going to kill this pass game. I mean, you got Mullins. Mullins has been struggling a lot against pressure. The offensive line struggles against pressure, and this offense just looks so much worse against pressure. So, I mean, there's not really much to say. Pressure and Saints keeping the ball. The Saints keeping the ball moving and the Saints applying pressure are just going to kill us this game. So, I mean, I don't really have to say much more about that. They're really just going to just keep us moving, do everything. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much I can say about that. So, yeah. All right, Kobe's still working on it. Give me 1 second. All right. While we're waiting on Kobe, let's just get to the key players. I know I'm kind of moving a lot past Kobe. He's going to be a bit behind when he joins back, but it's all good. We'll catch him up. He'll be able to talk about his points. But basically, we've covered all the Saints points, offense key, defense key. Now let's go over the key players, starting with the 49ers. Let's start with Nick Mullins. I mean, he's so inconsistent this year. So we definitely have to see that big dick Nick game other than that little dick Nick game. So got to step it up, got to ball out today, got to do whatever you can to keep that consistency, keep the pass game moving, keep the flow of this game moving. So Nick Mullins is going to be a crucial part to this game. All right, on the receiving core, I know I said pass game is going to be huge. Brandon Ayuk. Again, last week I said 85% of the snaps were going to run through Brandon Ayuk. You're going to see the ball in his hands the majority of the time. Let's be real. He's just going to have the ball in his hands the majority of time. Him and Kendrick Bourne in the passing game should get lots of receptions. This is going to be pretty similar to the New England game where they got a lot of reception. Or no, it was the Seattle game. Yeah, Seattle game. They got a lot of receptions. They were the focal points of the passing game. You're going to see a lot of action from Ayuk and Kendrick Bourne today. Kind of what they were hoping for last week. They're going in with the same game plan they had last week on offense. All the guys who were there on offense are healthy now. I mean, Kendrick Bourne, COVID-less. Ayuk, COVID-less. That was kind of unprecedented. Now you get them back. You're going to be running a similar game plan to the one you ran last week against the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, it's the Saints, so a bit different, a bit more pass-heavy probably, but we'll have to see. I mean, we didn't get to see what they were brewing up last week, but it's all good. Tank for Zach Wilson still going strong. We need a name for that. Tank for Zach Wilson. That doesn't sound good. Like, I don't know. Just like I don't know, like something for what starts with a Z that kind of resembles suck or something. I don't know, but or something that rhymes with Zach or something. I don't know. But yeah, man. I mean, Yeah, I'm just tanking. I mean, it's all good. Hopefully we can come back this week, get that win, get back on top. Because let's be real. I'm not saying we're out of the playoffs yet. We probably are, but if this team somehow steps it up, gets it going somehow, I don't know how that's going to happen, but this team still could be a playoff team. So, yeah, man. I mean, this team could just keep on going. And the passing game today, obviously, going to be a huge part of that. All right, offensive line. Mike Mcglinchey. I don't need to say more. We've talked about him so much. He has to step it up, has to step it up, has to step it up. Let's move on to the defense. After that, I got one defensive guy, and that's going to be Fred Warner. He's just going to be all over the place. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to be covering the Saints offense, how we're going to be covering Kamara, how we're going to be covering Michael Thomas, how we're going to be covering Drew Brees, how we're going to get past that offensive line. Going to be a very interesting game plan to see today. Because, I mean, the Saints have to be one of the most underrated teams in the NFL right now. Let's be real. I mean, a lot of people counted them out last week against the Bucs, and they just came in, blew them out. This could be another blowout this week. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Niners defense stops the Saints offense. And Fred Warner, in my opinion, is going to be a crucial part of that. So Fred Warner is my only defensive key player of the week. And yeah, so those are all my 49ers key players. Now for the Saints. Let's start off with Alvin Kamara. One of the best weapons in the NFL. You're going to see the ball in his hands a lot, whether Brees is playing well, whether Brees sucks. He's going to have the ball often. He's going to do some mad damage to us today. So it should be very interesting to see what's going on. Kobe's still working on it. That's all good. We'll roll solo until he comes back. But yeah. All right. After Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, going to be very interesting to see. They're definitely trying to get him back into the mix after he missed some time. Last week, I mean, he didn't look like the same Michael Thomas last week. So, I mean, I'll talk about him later, but Kobe's back now. So, all right, you got it fixed?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, let's try this again. If it doesn't work out, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it's a bad day of the internet. Sometimes it happens. Wi-Fi's bad.
Yeah, it's all good. We just talked about the Saints defensive key the Niners defensive key when you froze. I kind of went through the Saints offense and defense key. I'll just quickly state what they are. Am I keeping the ball moving for the Saints offense, kind of building off your defensive point, and for the Saints D, pressure against this weak Niners offensive line. So, floor is yours. Take it away. What you got for the Saints offense and defensive key?
Saints offense, I mean, pretty simple for Drew. Just make sure, identify where you want to go with the football. You're going to have a lot of time to get there because the pass rush isn't going to come, trying to kill you in less than 2.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll figure it out. I mean, obviously the internet for Kobe's keeps freezing. Oh, you're back?
Yeah, all I mean, I guess it didn't go all the way out this time. Yeah, I don't know, man. I keep freezing. The Wi-Fi is so bad.
Yeah, no, you're all good, man. But
as I was saying, Brees has time to read the defense, so you can identify his read and go where he wants to go with the football. Pass rush is not going to come and kill you in less than 2 seconds. So you got time to go through the reads. And if you can't go through, if no one's open on your initial reads, you can go ahead and extend the play because the Niners haven't shown they can, contain quarterbacks. So, yeah, for Drew, he's got a lot of weapons to go to. He's got Kamara out of the backfield. He can line up with slot receiver, the slot cornerback, which would be Jamar Taylor, or you can put Sanders there, or you can put Thomas there. Like they can attack wherever they want to because their weapons are interchangeable around the offense. So, yeah, defense has to work it out for them, trying to make sure they stay in front of their receivers today. They're not going to get tested. They're not going to test the Niners defense deep many times because Drew isn't that kind of quarterback. He is the most accurate quarterback in NFL history. He's a 10 yards and in kind of guy. Excuse me. 10 yards in, his guy riding, good catch and run kind of guy. A lot of yak for his guys. We're going to see screens, a lot of screens. Hopefully they can sniff those out with Kamara. The Saints offense has a lot they can do with this defense. It's not as good as it was last year. The numbers for the Niners are misleading this year because they beat up on some bad teams that kind of inflated their numbers. They're ranked 7th in defense this year.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks we haven't looked like the 7th best defense in the league. So
not even close to that.
Beating up on the Rams, beating up on the
Jets,
Patriots,
Giants, Patriots. All our 4 wins were pretty big wins. So that definitely sums up the defense right now. But the defense, stats don't lie, but they don't tell the truth. And that's a prime example of this. The Niners D, especially with all the injuries, has just been it just doesn't look the same as it was last year. So, yeah, for sure. And you kind of touched up on my key of the game with the keeping the ball moving. Like Drew Brees finding those weapons, that's a huge part to just keeping the ball moving. Do whatever you can to get the ball moving. He's going to have a lot of weapons today, whether it be Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, maybe a bit of Traquan Smith, lots of Alvin Kamara. So, yeah, man. I mean, I completely agree with you on that one. Just like he's got to figure it out, get all the guys open, and I definitely think he can torch this Niners defense today.
Yeah, and for the Saints defense, I mean, just get pressure on Mullins in the passing game, and you guys are going to be faring pretty well as long as you have a clean pocket to work with. I mean, Mullins has made a lot of mental errors. He's tried to do too much a lot of times. This leads to turnovers, and this offensive line has to handle the blitz well. So and I don't know if they're going to have to start in the center today. I don't know if it's going to be Brunskill or they're going to bring back Grossu.
Grossu, yeah.
But if it's Brunskill, it's their third.
Oh, okay.
And they haven't even.
Go ahead. You froze for like 2 seconds. You were talking about Brunskill being the third something.
Yeah, the Brunskill being the third center they used, this year. And Brunskill was the right tackle last year. Then he just switched to right guard, and now he's, potentially switching to center because Grossi was struggling. That's your third different center, and you want your communication with your quarterback and center to be, like really good to get protections, correct, to make sure everyone knows that they're blocking so you can have as much time to throw the ball as possible. But Mullins hasn't worked with any of these guys, and Brunskill hasn't played center at all this year until last week on a short week. So, yeah, offensive line is going to be rough for the Niners. I mean, it's been a weak point for the Niners this year so far. It may continue to be that today against another good defensive line. For the defense, it's going to be getting consistent pressure on Mullins today and force him to make mistakes because he will. And if he does, Niners stand no chance in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, you kind of said what I said. It's like the Niners offensive line, there's so many question marks with that, whether it be especially the right side of the line. Like the left side of the line, I think you're pretty secure with Trent Williams. Laken Tomlinson's kind of got his shit together. So I definitely think you're solid at that side. The right side, when you got center, right guard, right tackle, those are all the biggest concerns of the team. Because I mean, center, you don't know what's going on with all those injuries. I mean, you could see Grossu start, you could see Brunskill start. Both are not good centers. Let's be real. Brunskill should be the right guard for this team, but I mean, this team doesn't really have any other options. So you could see him there. Maybe even Justin School. I know he did some long snapping, but I doubt we'll see that. They'll probably want Brunskill in because he's the better blocker. So yeah, and then I mean, right guard. If Brunskill's at center, you're gonna have to put Tom Compton in again. And this is a guy who I don't really think they want playing. They've been putting on him on inactive often. So you could see maybe you see a bit of Colton McKivitz. I haven't heard good things about him so far from camp. We haven't seen him play at all this year. So maybe he comes in, maybe he does something. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then Mike Mcglinchey, I mean, I kind of touched on him. I was talking about key players when you were gone. I touched up on him. Like, he has to step it up. That's simple. Like, I don't need to say more. We've talked about him so much in this episode about how he needs to step up, how he needs to execute well. So, yeah, man, Mike Mcglinchey is going to be a huge part to this Niners game plan today. He's got to step it up. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Niners got their work cut out for them today. This is a very good Saints team. They're not number one in the NFC right now. They're not 6-2 for no reason. They got their work cut out for them. This game will be very telling for what they expect for the rest of the season. If they lose, it's all right. Well, let's get ready for the draft. If they win, then we can hold on to a little bit of hope we have left. The bye week coming up. So if they win this game, it looks really good for them. They can get Mostert back. They can get Debo back. They can get Sherman back after the bye. Maybe even Ronald Blair to help out the line a little bit. So if they can find a way to win this game, they were in a good position at 5-5 going into their bye week with a chance to get people healthy.
Yeah. All right. He's frozen again.
Players back. Froze again. All right.
You're for like 5 seconds. It's all good though.
My connection. The high ankle sprain or something. It must be
today. For sure. It's all good though.
I mean, it's the way the year's been. I mean, it's 2020. Everything's going on. For sure. So
yeah, you're good, brother. But continue.
But yeah. What was I saying? Yeah,
you're talking about the bye week and people coming back.
You get people healthy. You get some guys back like Mostert and Sherman and maybe Ronald Blair, Coleman. You get all those guys back, and you maybe make a run at this thing. But if you lose, it's almost like on the next season, and identify your good young players and maybe try to get this more play time, like Tavares more. But yeah, we'll see how it all goes. It's going to be a loss here, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, speaking of the loss, I mean, we were talking. I kind of brought up while you were frozen for that long period of time. Like, what do we? I know you had last year tank for Tua, blow for Burrow, tank for Trevor this year. What do we call our tank for Zach Wilson? I don't know. I don't know what to call it, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, he has the W, so we're not getting many W's. So
we're not getting many W's or Z. I mean, I don't know. The one thing that came to mind is like Zuck for Zach, but that doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, I don't think that never.
I don't know. That's like I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg said like, "Give me the Zuck" or something once. I don't know what that we shouldn't be. I don't know.
I was thinking like winless for Wilson, but like if we win a game, then that slogan, is broken. So
don't win for Wilson. No, I don't know.
It doesn't have a good ring to it.
It doesn't have a good way. Or I mean, you could do tank for Trey Lance, but I think Zach Wilson. I mean, from what I've heard, we've liked him a lot more. So we'll have to figure out something, or just like blow for BYU quarterback, something like that. I don't know. That sounds terrible.
It does. But it's not that great.
Yeah, I know. We got to figure something else out. So, any Niners fans watching this, I know the comments have been very quiet today. Could just be that we're losing, could be all the Fairweather fans going away. But if you are here, shout out to you. We know you're a loyal fan. So
yeah, you can watch watch the after recording. If you're watching the after recording,
always can watch the after recording. Yeah, for sure. That's always good to do after recording. So I mean, for those who watch the after recording, you're at like the 41-minute mark. You're a real one. Let's be real. You guys are a real one.
I've been lagging out the whole entire time. I mean, we haven't had much to talk about. It's not like
we haven't had. It hasn't been much to talk about. And I mean, oftentimes like this year, like with so I started this last year when I wasn't expecting us to do well, and those are like the days where I had like the 8-minute streams. Like those are easy to do. And like this offseason, I kind of like developed the channel, everything, and now we're doing a lot longer streams with other people on because I was expecting like, oh, we're just gonna be a winning season. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. How we move forward, but now it's like, you're not really moving forward. I mean, it's definitely been a wild ride, but hey, man, I'll always be here. I'll always be talking Niners, doing whatever. So, yeah, for sure. But yeah, man. All right. You got anything else about any of the Saints' offense, defense, anything?
Nah, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all know what we're getting stuff into. Like, we all know what's about to happen tonight. Like, it is what it is. We got to work out for us. We got to play uncharacteristically good today to win. So,
yeah, for sure.
Hey, we have a comment.
We have our first comment. What up, OBO Bosa, saying Emmanuel Sanders is going to go out for 2 catches, 17 yards, and celebrate a revenge game for no reason. I mean, I don't think Sanders is going to have too crucial of a part in this game today. I think they're going to mainly go after Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. So, I mean, that honestly could very well happen. I mean, I don't think he's going to be that cocky personally. I mean, I definitely think a lot of guys on this team respect Emmanuel Sanders and he respects this organization. That's what I've just got the sense from what the players have been saying about him, everything. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I don't think you're going to see much of a celebration. I mean, at this point it's kind of like beating up a win against us is kind of like just beating up against, like, bullying the disabled kid. Honestly, that's what it feels like right now.
Like the Saints should win this game. You're not going to be celebrating when they win this game. They should win this game.
Yeah, they should win this game.
Not like they won a Super Bowl or anything. Like, they're supposed to win this game. It'd be like, all right,
for sure. It's not going to be like the celebration they had last week against Tampa, where they were just going off in the locker room. It's not going to be close to that. This is just going to be like a, yay, we won, we beat the 49ers, but. Yeah, there's not much to celebrate for either of these teams, man. I mean, yeah, it'll be nice to get the Niners to get a win, but I mean, I don't see this team making the playoffs. This team, yes, they're still in contention, but are they really going to finish the job, get it done? I mean, with all the injuries, it's very hard for me to see that happening. So, yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into 49ers Keys Players game. I kind of went over mine, so I'm going to let you start, and then I can just briefly touch on mine later. So, what you got?
For offense, Nick Mullins. He's going to have to be that dude today if we're going to win this game. He's going to try to find a way to outduel Drew Brees. If Mullins can't get it done, then we stand no chance. So, Nick Mullins is offense. Defense is going to be, I'll just say the secondary because, I mean, we already know Warner's going to ball out. We already know that. Yeah. Defensive line is going to struggle today. We already know that. So it's going to be on the secondary to play some very sticky, defense, for the receivers to give the pass rush more help, give them more more of a opportunity to get to the quarterback, give Drew Brees down. So yeah, it's gonna be on the secondary to help out this defensive line. It's gonna have to play kind of like how the Patriots did last year, where their secondary was like the crutch of the defense, and they were the ones that really did all the work and give our defensive line an easier job. It's got to be in reverse for this defense to work. The secondary has to help out the defensive line rather than the defensive line helping out the secondary. So secondary is a key group for defense, and then offense, Nick Mullins.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I said Fred Warner is my defensive player, key player, because he's just going to be all over the place. I think he's probably going to be covering Kamara most of the time. So, yeah, I do think Fred Warner is going to be that defense guy. And then for offense, I had Mullins, I had Ayuk, Kendrick Bourne, and Mike Mcglinchey. So, yeah, I mean, there's obviously all those guys are going to be crucial parts of the game plan today. So, I mean
everybody, you can pick anybody, and they're crucial to this game. I mean,
everyone is. I do key players, but I mean, really, like everyone's a key player. Like everyone has to step it up. It's a team effort. It's not an individual sport.
Yeah, with this team, it's injured. We are like we can't have just one guy going off for us and winning. It's just not going to work that way. It's got to be an entire team effort.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, yeah, really, everyone has to step it up. But those guys in particular, Mullins, secondary, Warner, all the other guys I mentioned, definitely going to have to step it up in a big way today. Play like not out of their mind, but they just got to make a noticeable impact on the field today and step it up. So, yeah, for sure. All right, Saints key players. I touched up on Drew Brees, Michael Thomas. That was it. Then you came back. So let's talk about the other guys. Emmanuel Sanders, I just have there because, as Ovio Bosa said, it's a revenge game for him. That should be fun. Same with Quan Alexander. I have him there too. First game as a Saint against the Niners. That's pretty cool if I'm being real. Just like your first game with your new team is against the team that just traded you. So that's definitely pretty cool. The offensive line.
Yeah, you're gonna bring some juice today.
Yeah, definitely gonna bring some juice today. Definitely a revenge game for him. The offensive line for the Saints, in my opinion, is the key part of this game. If the Niners want to get those third down stops, which are most of my key points of the defense for the Niners D, it's going to rely on the Saints offensive line just stepping up. And the 49ers defensive line, who we didn't even mention. So I definitely think the Saints offensive line is going to have a crucial part to this game today. And then on defense, I said Quan already. The other guy, Cam Jordan. And who's the other guy you mentioned? You mentioned another pass rusher. It wasn't Davenport. It was the other guy.
Trey Henderson, I think it was.
Trey Henderson, something like that. Those two guys are definitely going to be crucial. Whoever's going up against Mcglinchey today. Obviously, Mcglinchey has to step it up. Trent Williams, not too concerned about, but yeah, those guys are definitely going to have to step it up.
It was Trey Hendricks.
Trey Hendrickson. So, yeah. All right, what you got for Saints key players?
Saints, for sure going to be, everything starts and ends with the quarterback. So, going Drew Brees here is pretty easy. But outside of Drew Brees, it's probably going to be Jared Cook being able to get some success against these linebackers and potentially against some of these safeties. Marcel Harris, I think, is going to be starting, and he had a good game against Harris last year in the Saints game. Mm-hmm. So from that standpoint, if they can't stop the tight end, it'll make it harder for the Niners because their linebackers are really the best part of this team so far. If they can't seem to get it going, then the defense is really in trouble. So Jared Cook, sure. you want to find a way to get him going. For the defense, it's going to be Trey Hendrickson, continuing to get consistent pressure, because if you pressure this offense, personnel is really in place. So, for sure, it's going to be Hendrickson for the defense, and the offense is going to be about Jared Cook, trying to get some success against these linebackers. Mm-hmm. And it should be able to do so. It's the beat up Niners team that isn't playing that well. So, I think odds are in their favor.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta say, I didn't even think about Jared Cook, but you mentioned a great point about last year against Marcel Harris. He balled out against Marcel Harris. It was ridiculous. And then he got hurt, I believe, because it was like a Witherspoon late hit or something like that. But he was dominated against Marcel Harris. And yes, Marcel Harris has got his shit together. I believe that was like one of his first starts as a professional because Tart was out that week. But now Tart's out for the year. Harris is going to have to step into that role. I know we brought up Jared Maiden, but this is also – I don't think he's taken a snap yet on this team on the defensive side. Maybe on special teams. I don't know. But – yeah, he's definitely Marcel Harris. That could be another key player to the Niners, and Jared Cook too. You could see a lot of Jared Cook versus Marcel Harris matchups. Jared Cook going against the linebackers, Fred Warner. I mean, you're probably going to put Dre Greenlaw on him because Fred Warner he's probably going to be that spy against Alvin Kamara, seeing where he's going. because the Saints offense definitely revolves around not revolves around Alvin Kamara because they have a lot of weapons, but Alvin Kamara is just such a huge part to that offense. So you could definitely see Jared Cook the Niners D might not be paying attention to him. Jared Cook could quietly just come in there, have a massive game today. So I definitely think that's a great point with Jared Cook right there. So yeah, for sure. All right, we got 10 minutes until the early games start. Only 5 early games, which is kind of weird to the Masters, but let's get into score predictions. And we both have the Saints winning, excuse me. If we had the Saints losing, that would kind of be a bit biased. But, Kobe, I want to talk about that tweet that you brought up earlier today about the Niners will win this game. It's a bit different. I just want to hear about that for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if we lose this game, we still win because right now the Niners are looking at quarterbacks early in the draft. So, if we lose, that means higher draft position, which is a win. Because we have to give up less assets to get a quarterback, or maybe none to get a quarterback in the draft if that's where the Niners want to go with it. So, yeah, any loss we get this year is still a win because we get higher draft position. And that's why I say, we might win, but in a different way. We'll win some higher draft position, just not the game. So, in the long run, it still works out, but in the short term, it's gonna suck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I think I'm still freezing up a lot. Oh well.
Yeah, no, you haven't frozen up in a while, so I think you're good. But all right, you guys score. Yeah, you're doing well. All right, now for the actual game. Obviously, we're losing this game, as you just said. So, want to hear what your score prediction is?
It's probably. I mean, I think the Saints score in the 30s. It's probably gonna be like 38 to 20 for this game, most likely. Saints win 38-20. I'll go with.
That's actually the exact same prediction I had. 38-20, New Orleans. I don't expect New Orleans to. I'm not gonna say I don't expect the Niners to match up to the Saints. I know Kobe froze again, but yeah, for sure. I definitely think I don't think the Niners D is gonna score that many points. Meanwhile, the Saints, as I said earlier, if the Saints execute their key points in the game, they're gonna win this game and they're gonna win by a lot. So I got 38-20 as well as Kobe. So great minds think alike. Obviously, Kobe's frozen. So yeah, for sure. All right, I don't have much else to say, so I'm gonna end the stream right here. I think I'll tweet out Kobe's final thoughts later, but I'm gonna end the stream right here. Hopefully, Kobe can fix his internet. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys for post game, and I will see you guys next time. Go Niners!